Discover tidbits for major success in your dealings and relationships in this summary of Leil Lowndes' How to Talk to Anyone. Introduction. Why should I care? Learn how to present yourself in the best light and stay out of trouble. There are many meetings, talks, and presentations in life that we would prefer to avoid. We are all social beings, however, and communication is essential to practically everything we do. Then, wouldn't it make sense for us to all work on improving and feeling more at ease in our communication? Author Leil Lowndes has made it her life's effort to help individuals improve their communication skills. She has observed people, researched the subject, and taken note of every tiny tick and habit that either makes people trip over themselves or make the most of a conversation. She has been publishing books containing do's and don'ts for decades in an effort to help people better navigate the tumultuous waters of everyday communication. You'll be pleased you did, so dig in and master some of the basic, and more sophisticated, techniques that can help you get through a casual discussion or a crucial meeting. You'll learn these summaries contain how to use a messenger to transmit positive energy, the proper way to enter a gathering, and how to compliment someone perfectly. Principle 1. Remember that first impressions count, so smile and act in a kind manner. Don't fool yourself, first impressions matter a lot. When you first meet someone, your appearance and behavior are imprinted in their memory, and this will surely affect any subsequent interactions you have with them. Your face is the first thing someone notices, therefore this is where a solid first impression starts. Do you remember hearing your mother advise you to always smile when you meet new people? She was correct, despite the fact that you found it irksome at the time. If you grin, you have a much better chance of winning someone over. But since people can tell when a smile is false, let it develop gradually to appear more individual and sincere. A natural-looking smile is even more crucial for women, according to studies. Women who take longer to smile are seen as more credible in professional settings. Another piece of advice is to avoid grinning at everyone in a group. It might be unsettling. As you interact with other individuals, try to change your smile. It has been demonstrated that maintaining consistent eye contact will help you win people over and that your eyes are a valuable tool in persuasion. Maintaining eye contact with someone even when they aren't speaking will help your relationship. Only break that contact when absolutely necessary. Now that your face is in order, let's talk about your body language, which has a significant impact on how other people see you. To begin with, it's critical to understand that just because someone is a stranger, it doesn't follow that you have to treat her as such. Instead, greet someone as if she were an old friend while you are meeting them for the first time. Turn your entire body toward her and smile warmly so she knows you are paying complete attention to her. Making sure not to fidget, which entails controlling your hand gestures, will help you avoid losing her favor as well. Keep your cool and avoid touching your face as you speak. It may sound strange, but studies have shown that doing so reduces your credibility. Principle 2. Good interactions are facilitated by affable introductions and familiar body language. You could worry, what if we don't have anything in common? Or what are we going to talk about? Before meeting someone for the first time. Fortunately, you'll discover that a fantastic conversation can often start with a simple introduction. Asking a mutual acquaintance or the person hosting the event you're at for an introduction is the simplest method to make it happen. Alternately, you can elicit some information from them regarding the enigmatic stranger so that you might strike up a conversation on your own. Finally, you can stand by the stranger while they talk and listen to see if there is a chance you can join in. Having an icebreaker, or conversation starter, that you may bring with you, such a vintage pocket watch or unique pocketbook, is a time-honored method for attracting people to come chat to you. This invites the question, where did you acquire that? And before you know it, you're chit-chatting like old friends. Make introductions and share one or two intriguing facts about each participant if you're the one hosting the meeting to streamline the process. This manner, everyone has an opportunity to start the conversation out with a new question. Your attention can then turn to your demeanor once the introductions have been made and the talk has begun. Nobody wants to be dragged into a conversation where the other person drones on about some dull, apparently never-ending story. So be sure to pay close attention to how other people are speaking and responding to make sure you're not subjecting them to this. It's likely that everyone will pay attention and be involved if you try to reflect their attitude and tone of speech. For instance, imitate their energetic gestures and smile if they are doing so. Alternately, try your best to blend in if the atmosphere is solemn and individuals are leaning back in their chairs. The best course of action when you see an opportunity to join a conversation is to speak with confidence and a cheerful demeanor. As long as you refrain from saying things that are impolite, disagreeable, or could be interpreted as complaints, this is even more crucial than the words you use because doing so would give the wrong impression. Principle 3. Open openings for conversation and maintain conversations to master the art of small chat. You may believe that small conversation is pointless and a waste of time, but this is simply untrue. Small chat may make all the difference in your personal and professional relationships, whether you're trying to win someone over or scare them away. If you struggle with small conversation, attempt to get ready for the questions you'll inevitably be asked. What inquiries always arise as you get to know someone? Most likely, it involves questions like where are you from? And what do you do? Furthermore, these inquiries frequently elicit drab, brusque, and uninviting responses due to their enduring nature. For this reason, be prepared to elaborate rather than responding with a single word, such as London or marketing. Use an interesting fact or anecdote as a springboard for another topic to keep the discussion going. For instance, if Washington, D.C. is your hometown, you might say that the same city designer who created the blueprints for Paris also created Washington, D.C. This might lead to further travel-related conversation. Focusing on listening well and learning how to keep your companion talking are two more great strategies. Even though it seems counterintuitive, one of the easiest ways to make others think you're a brilliant conversationalist is to speak very little and keep the focus on your partner. They won't be able to notice that you aren't saying much because they will be too busy talking and feeling complimented by your interest. Taking advantage of a person's pauses to repeat what they just said in a way that puts the initiative back in their hands is a typical technique for keeping a conversation going. You can lead someone to many fascinating revelations by keeping them chatting. Knowing somebody in the group has a wonderful story to tell and then giving that individual a proper introduction is a simple method to gain conversational favor. This not only amuses the group, but the person who has the story will probably appreciate that you gave them a chance to shine. This strategy may potentially backfire, so make sure the anecdote is suitable and wasn't anything you were told in confidence. When you speak, you should also make an effort to avoid saying anything that will give you a terrible impression. People frequently feel the want to admit a shortcoming or share personal information when getting to know one another better. This is incorrect. Unless you've previously made a strong impression on the person, sharing a secret will probably only make them wonder what else you have hidden. Principle 4. Develop a connection through acting, speaking, and acting like a close friend. Human nature dictates that people like others with whom they share characteristics. This knowledge can be useful to remember. You can take advantage of this by emphasizing your similarities with the individual you're attempting to flatter. Use this to make it simpler for you to get along with people since, as the adage goes, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. They move in what way? Are they trembling and jumpy, or sluggish and cautious? Even if they aren't aware why, people tend to feel more at ease with you when you mirror their actions. The same holds true for language, therefore make an effort to speak in their words and phrases. For instance, if someone claims to work for an ad agency, note that they didn't use the terms business or firm, and use those terms yourself. If they like baseball, you could help them hit a home run, and if they enjoy boating, you could welcome them as a member of the crew. You may take this a step further by choosing phrases that are related to their interests. Using empathizers rather than ums will help you establish rapport. When someone speaks, we often unconsciously respond with monosyllabic murmurs like huh, yeah, or to show that we're paying attention. However, if you want to make a positive impression, use whole statements that demonstrate to your partner that you are actually listening, such as that was the appropriate thing to do or I understand why you did that. Adopting two potent words, we and us. For the most part, individuals tend to use these phrases solely when speaking about their closest friends and partners. This is another top-notch rapport enhancer that will take you from being mere acquaintances to close friends in no time. You can hasten the friendship forming process by utilizing these words with someone you want to invite into your inner circle. So try asking, how do you think we'll do with the new mayor, rather than, what do you think about this new mayor? Finally, develop your sense of humor. Every close relationship is built on these. Remember when jokes are told and when everyone laughed together, so you may discreetly bring them up later if you want to bond with someone quickly. All of a sudden, the two of you will have a memorable shared past. Concept 5. Be tactful, restrained, and prompt in your compliments. Isn't praise a nice thing? Although it makes sense in principle, doing it in real life can backfire if the recipient suspects you aren't being serious. So it makes sense to compliment someone indirectly. To achieve this, one strategy is to share any flattering remarks with a mutual acquaintance. Both the recipient and the sender will feel terrific after receiving the good news from a third party. In the same way, if someone asks you to spread a nice word, don't hesitate to do so. You'll discover that spreading good news comes with its own benefits. But if you're the one providing the compliment, don't be too overt about it. Instead, you may mention it in a joking statement. For instance, after asking someone how they are, you could follow up with, "You've obviously been well," after giving them a quick glance. Or you might ask them for something like a restaurant recommendation to quietly convey that you respect them. This demonstrates your respect for their taste. If you need to be more direct, keep in mind that even modest praise can go a long way. Everyone believes they perform wonderful work that is completely overlooked, generally speaking. You can make someone's day just by complimenting them on a job well done. Keep in mind that instantaneous praise is even better. Speak up as soon as the nice deed occurs rather than waiting a week to do it. When someone has recently given a presentation, immediate appreciation can be very helpful because public speaking is difficult for most individuals. Your coworker will appreciate it if you compliment them right away, even if you're stretching the truth. But you might be more precise when praising those who are close to you. Just single out one particular quality that you really adore to give that special someone in your life a stunning praise. Whether it's their fashionable good looks, incredible tenacity, or flawless charisma, they will undoubtedly appreciate your compliment if you are real and genuine in it. Key Concept 6. In your relationships, always be considerate, especially when it comes to giving and receiving favors. Many of the fundamentals of how to talk to anyone and win them over have already been addressed. Let's now examine some professional level strategies to help you be at the top of your interpersonal game. Being more considerate is one straightforward method to enhance your connections. First, realize that everyone occasionally needs to vent, especially after a trying day. Allow them to gripe and get it out of their system while being patient and trying to convey your sympathy. Once they have calmed down as a result of your intervention, you can start talking about whatever is on your mind. Second, be careful not to end a conversation abruptly. Let's say your friend is telling you a fascinating story when the waiter comes to take your orders. Don't forget to go back and help your friend continue where she left off once the distraction has been resolved. The final piece of advice is to occasionally keep things silent. Everyone has moments they wish no one would notice, such as when they experience an unpleasant biological function around another person. But that doesn't imply you or the other person need to make a comment to acknowledge it. The kind thing to do is to carry on talking as if nothing occurred. You may be sure that your friend will appreciate this very much. The art of doing a favor is the ultimate manifestation of consideration. You are aware of how wonderful it feels to help someone, right? But if someone demands that you stop everything and immediately do a favor for him, that's a different matter. He comes out as impolite. Therefore, refrain from doing this yourself. The same goes for asking for something right away after doing someone a favor. Instead, give it some time so people can see that you did it out of friendship. Only bring up what you want later. Finally, bear in mind that everyone keeps note of the favors we do for friends and coworkers, so be sure to show your appreciation and gratitude to those who have your back at all times. Principle 7. For work success, it is essential to sound professional. If you're an ambitious worker, you're probably always looking for new methods to wow your manager and advance your career. A crucial strategy for this is to make sure you sound businesslike at all times. First, be direct and to the point while speaking with your supervisor. Important people don't have time to avoid the subject by dancing. Additionally, while speaking, attempt to keep your subject's attention. When you begin your sentences with "you," the audience is more likely to pay attention to the words that come next. In a similar vein, while deciding how to convey news, consider your listener's expected reaction and make an effort to account for it in your communication. If you believe they will be pleased to hear the news, for instance, tell them with a smile. Inform them of the bad news while heaving a sympathetic sigh. Consider the listener's potential interests as well. When meeting a potential client, describe your services to them rather than just stating your position. If you're a hairdresser, describe how your profession allows you to discover the right cut that complements a client's face and personality. If you're an accountant, say how you organize people's accounts and find new ways for them to save money. Nevertheless, there are several hazards in trying to sound professional, just like there are in any conversation. Here are some of the most typical examples. The professional reaction is to remain calm and allow the revelation to unfold gradually throughout the course of the conversation if you find out that you and someone else have anything in common. Your cool manner will undoubtedly impress the other individual. Second, you must at all costs stay away from cliches. Third, instead of asking someone what they do, try asking them how they spend the majority of their time. Some individuals don't like talking about their day jobs, but they'll be eager to chat about their passions. Finally, keep in mind that professionals never make jokes about other people's misfortune or tease them. Principle 8. Maintain control by keeping work and play separate and by being trustworthy at all times. Even while moving up the employment ladder is challenging, staying there and not falling back down presents a whole new set of difficulties. A wonderful piece of advice for all bosses is to separate work from personal time. Even if it's a business lunch, wait until after the dessert to start talking business, especially if the subject is sensitive. After all, nobody wants a bad business talk to impair their appetite. The same is true of social gatherings, which are fantastic for meeting new people but less so for discussing important business issues. Keep it lighthearted and schedule a different meeting for more important topics. Always remember to be honest and present your best self when the time is right to conduct business. People frequently make the error of skirting the topic of what they will gain from the agreement while discussing how much the customer will benefit while meeting with or selling to clients. Even though you may believe that this is only being courteous, it can come out as phony. Instead, simply be clear and forthright about how you will both gain from the customer and the relationship. They won't suspect you of trying to pull a fast one if you do it this way. Additionally, don't be scared to make errors. Some companies actively relish making mistakes because they can impress the customer by making up for them. Therefore, if you screw up and send the wrong goods, be sorry and go above and beyond by making a gesture of goodwill, such providing a gift card or free shipping on their subsequent transaction. By doing this, you're more likely to maintain the client, who might even tell others how fantastic your service is. Be the first to applause or speak up at all times as a final trick to dazzle. Right, leaders always make the initial move. They don't wait for instructions from others. Being the first to applaud or voice an opinion allows you to gently and effectively position yourself as a leader in group settings. Idea number 9. Meeting preparation is beneficial. A little preparation can go a long way in increasing your chances of having a successful meeting with someone you don't know. Make an effort to always have the perfect thing to say first. According to studies, those who have a wide and rich vocabulary are regarded as being smarter and more creative. Therefore, using a thesaurus to check up some of your most repetitious words and locate some suitable replacements will only benefit your cause. Consider this: if you learn a new word once each day for 2 months, you will quickly come off as a very intelligent and inventive wordsmith. One more indication of intelligence is having some pertinent quotations on hand. Write down any inspiring quotes you come across, then read them over and over again until you know them by heart. You'll quickly discover that once you get the right opportunity to utilize it, you'll knock them out cold. If you pay attention to the individuals you'll be meeting with, preparation might be very helpful. For instance, if you're going to a trade conference or similar event, brush up on your business terminology by browsing trade publications or websites. You'll impress others by being knowledgeable about the current hot topics. The likelihood that you'll be accepted into the inner circle and given a little bit more respect than an outsider would be increased by having insider information like this. Similar to this, being familiar with the jargon and the finer points of how something operates can frequently result in the salesperson making you a better offer when you're shopping for an expensive item like a car. When you're a tourist or on business, the same rules apply. Knowing the traditions and history of the area will make you less likely to make a mistake or cause yourself embarrassment. Unwise businessmen found this out the hard way. When he made the OK gesture in Brazil, he was ready to seal a deal. While this information may not be in your typical travel book, it only goes to show how easy misinterpretation can ruin a meeting or break a transaction. He had no idea that in Brazil, this indicates something entirely different and is thought to be very disrespectful. So take the time to be as prepared as you can to help guarantee that everything goes as planned. Concept 10. Lack of visual signals can be made up for with strong phone skills. Talking on the phone isn't always the best approach to start a discussion for many individuals. According to several research, when talking on the phone, people lose 30% of the vitality in their voice. However, you can use the following methods to make your ears ring with praise. Answering the phone should be done politely and professionally. Greet the caller as you would a long-lost friend when he identifies himself. They will feel welcomed and comfortable in this manner, and you will already be off to a wonderful start. Always keep in mind that when you are speaking on the phone, nobody can read your facial expressions, body language, or hand gestures. It is up to you to convert this visual information into verbal indications. In order to let them know what's on your mind and that you're totally interested in the conversation, say "Aha. I'm very delighted to hear that," or "Please continue" instead of nodding. Additionally, individuals tend to perk up when they hear their own names, so saying their name more often than usual will help you keep their attention. But be careful not to bring this up in face-to-face conversations because doing so too frequently can come out as fawning. It doesn't hurt to always ask the other person if it's a good time to talk and only continue if it's obvious that they have time when you want to conduct business over the phone. It's also not unusual to struggle to get past a person's obstinate helper. But here's a tip you may use. Instead of asking to speak with Ms. Smith, just say, "Is she in today?" This communicates familiarity and implies that you are a close friend who should be put first in the callback queue. However, there is a technique to make rejections a little bit less painful for the caller if you're the one conducting the screening. Have your personnel inform them that they will be put through immediately. Once the caller has been on wait for a short while, have a member of your team apologize and let them know you're not available. They won't be as inclined to take it personally because of this. With the help of these suggestions, you ought to be able to maximize every phone call. Idea number 11. Make a powerful entry and take the lead to get the most out of every party. A lot of individuals go to parties only for fun. There is nothing improper with it, but you can also be a little more ambitious. Here are some pointers on how to network with and wow the influential people in attendance. That first impression is crucial once more. You've probably heard about how charismatic pop stars can be on stage. By making certain preparations and understanding how to enter a room, you may have the same charisma and make everyone look your way. Simple steps can be taken to make a dramatic entrance, such as pausing at the threshold to examine the area before entering. After inspecting the area and finding it satisfactory, you can grin enter. Everyone in attendance will be impressed by such a stunning arrival. As soon as you enter, you should take the initiative and approach the individual who is the most fascinating in the space. If you wait for people to approach you, you can spend the entire evening hanging out by yourself and have little opportunity to network with influential people. It's time to put all you've learned from the previous summaries to use when you do have someone's undivided attention, but here's an extra tip. Be aware of your hand motions. Refrain from displaying your knuckles or the back of your hand, which some people may interpret as menacing. Instead, assume a welcoming and open stance with your palms outstretched. Always pay attention to what the other person is saying and make mental notes on it because it will probably come in handy at a later time. This includes any private information they may divulge and any other information they deem significant. You'll create a terrific impact in your next meeting if you bring up one of these points. Final thoughts. These summaries' main takeaway is this. Anyone may improve their relationships and communication skills with a basic understanding of human nature and behavior. Everyone should be aware of the value of establishing a good first impression, how to conduct themselves in meetings with valuable information, how to utilize non-threatening body language, and how to deliver appropriate compliments. You'll feel more at ease and confident in conversations if you have knowledge and sound technique. You'll also make more friends and advance more swiftly in life. If you want to learn how to communicate with anyone, click the link below to get the book. Thank you for viewing.